and welcome to the Logcast. I am your ever faithful host, David Jones, and kind of a small crew here today. I am only joined by the great Jeff.
Hello, hello.
How you doing today, buddy?
Not too bad. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's weekend. Glad to kick back and relax. Don't have much going on today. Wife's visiting friends, so probably just watch movies and play video games all day after this. So that's always exciting.
Sounds like a pretty good day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I've not got too much going on until later. I have a new job. I'm working graveyard shifts at a gym, so I have my first shift tonight. Exciting.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah.
Do they at least give you free membership, as if you'd want to
Yes.
come back?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Free membership nationwide, so I've got that.
Nice. Can you hook other people up with free memberships?
Nope.
Ah. All right. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
No.
Give it a shot.
Because I probably could use a gym membership.
Yeah, it's useful. I've been
Yeah.
utilizing it already. It's been good.
It seems like I only gain weight as I get older. That seems to be how it goes.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway. Yay! For the slow march to death. Yay. So, on a lighter note, you played any cool video games this week?
Why, as a matter of fact, I have. So, we'll start off just to get out of the way. Rocket League. Not a whole lot.
I feel like we should
between
just
that.
stop including that one because it's assumed.
Yeah, just include it if I don't play it. Pretty much what I should do.
Yeah.
Also, still playing through Halo 2. Probably a quarter of the way through it at this point. I do enjoy it more than Halo 1, so it's interesting.
And you're playing I think you already mentioned last year, you are playing the new version, right?
Yeah, I'm playing the remastered.
I really enjoy the soundtrack to that one, especially the remastered soundtrack. I think it's really
is it
good.
Pretty different.
In some places, there's I can't remember if you've got to the point, but there's one point if you flip to the old graphics, it'll switch to a Breaking Benjamin song.
Oh, weird.
Because it's on the original soundtrack, but they didn't get the rights to put on the remastered soundtrack, so they just composed a piece for it. I think it's like a boss battle or something, and it just
doesn't
like
make any sense.
I know.
Like, how could they include it on the original if they don't have the rights? Anyway.
Or maybe they just decided that it's not the
They
90s
might have
anymore,
just
and no one
decided-
cares about Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, they may have just decided it was like blatantly early to mid 2000s and that it should probably be removed.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's been fun, and I did finally switch between the new cutscenes and the old cutscenes, and holy crap. Like, dude,
A lot of difference.
these new ones are great.
Yep, Blur does good work. It's the studio that did this.
Yeah. Also been playing, I don't know, I tried out Marvel Heroes Omega, which is a free-to-play Marvel game. Have you ever played that?
Nope.
Yeah, it was awful. It's... I can't even describe it. It's just not my type of game.
What is it? Like, what type of game?
It's somewhere between... I don't know. I would say it's somewhere between like Kingdom Hearts and an RTS, but like not very well done because it's kind of this 3/4 view. You control your character and you have a few different button attacks, and the enemies have like HP that you see like diminishing as you hit them, and you can like swap between characters and stuff.
So do they try to do it like real-time action, or is it all turn-based?
No, it's all real time. That's why it's more Kingdom Hearts than your typical RPG, but like, I don't know. It's
I feel like I
just
can't
not very
get
good.
into real-time games on my phone without a controller. It's just
no,
it's
this
too
is on the
hard.
Xbox.
Oh, okay. You said free-to-play, so I assumed it was a phone game.
There's an entire free to play section on the Xbox store. There's probably like 20 or 30 games in there.
I forget that there's a bunch of them. There's a couple I've tried.
Yeah.
Neverwinter, I played a little bit, which I thought was all right.
Yeah.
As far as
I've had that one.
a free, World of Warcraft type game. But
Okay.
I don't think I've tried many of the others.
Yeah, Clay got me to try one, and I've already forgotten what it's called, but it was somewhere between Minecraft and an RPG type game,
Hmm.
or MMO maybe more than an RPG. There's just a constantly populated world. It just definitely was not my cup of tea. I can't remember. I'm like in my mind, I'm thinking Terraria, but I know that that's like the sprite-based Minecraft. That's something completely different.
Yeah, and that's not free.
No, but it's, and I've heard that that's good. This one, not super fun. I can't even remember the name of it, but yeah, there's a few on there. Hopefully someday I'll find one that I enjoy.
Yeah, free games are not usually very good.
They can be. I mean, like, there's, and I know you're not like huge into like the match 3, but there's several good match 3 games that
Right.
are free to play. You have to pay if you want to get more lives or whatever, but like, that's, to me, that's not bad because like they're very well made. And even like Tracky Train is a really good free to play game, and Dashy Crashy.
Dash. I have a hard time believing something called Dashy Crashy is good.
It's made by the former creative director of Rare.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Craig Duncan mentioned it when he was on the show.
Oh, I've
I think
already
his name is
forgot.
Travis Ryan.
I'm
Dumpling
sorry.
Design. It's okay. You should at least download it. It's on iPhone.
Okay.
It is fun. It's there's not a whole lot to it. Like, you're going down the highway, you swipe left and right to avoid cars, you swipe up to turbo boost, and you kind of get a high score by the further you go, and the faster you're going, you get a combo. I mean, it's your typical basic simplistic mobile game design, but very, very well made, very well implemented, and yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, other game I've been playing. Let's see, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Been kind of getting into that. I kind of go on these like binges of that game where I'll play for like a week or a month straight, and then kind of just fall off. But as of right now, been playing again. I've got it set up. Did you ever play that one, or are you into Animal Crossing at all?
I think the only one I ever played briefly was the first one. For GameCube, and that was only years later, just out of curiosity. I never really got into the games.
Gotcha. The GameCube one, especially years later, is not a good one to jump into because it's, I would call it very archaic comparatively. They streamlined like 99% of the game, in even just with like the Wii one onward, or I guess the DS one. I can't remember which one came out first, the DS or the Wii, but the 3DS one is kind of the definitive one, I'd say, right now, and that's what I'm playing. But long story short, this one's set up a little bit differently, where one of like your primary character on your cart is the mayor of the town. Previously, there was always a turtle or tortoise named Tortimer who was the mayor. But anyway, in this one, the first player to start the game becomes the mayor and gets to like build different buildings. I think I don't really know because my wife played the game before I did when we bought it, because she's a huge fan of it, and so she's the mayor and I am just the extra player. So I don't think I've even tapped into the full potential of the game. So I've been kind of just playing in her file a little bit this week, because like she literally hasn't touched it, I don't think, in 2.5 years.
I know some people just get really, really into it.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm trying to expand my town, and I'm really confused. There was a big content update released in November, and I've been playing the game throughout this year, and it's late July, and my game just finally updated, and I didn't realize it was out, but like when I went to Google like what the update was, it was like this was released in November. So I was kind of annoyed about that it didn't auto update until 7-8 months later. But it added an entire new area and a couple different mechanics to the game, which is just crazy for a game that's as old as it is, because I think it came out in 2013. It added some functionality to link to the I forget what there was an Animal Crossing game that came out like last year. It was like Designer or something. But anyway, long story short, been playing a lot of that and enjoying that as always. I just have always been a sucker for it ever since the GameCube one. So I do own them all and have played them all extensively.
Well,
What I do miss about the GameCube one, and actually the one thing that makes the GameCube one better than any of the others, is that the GameCube one did include a ton of NES games um, that you could emulate and play in game, full screen and everything. So that I miss. It was kind of the precursor to the Virtual Console before they realized, oh, we shouldn't give those away for free because we can charge you 20 times for the same frickin' thing.
yay, Nintendo.
Exactly. All right, and the last game that I played, I did touch on. I did play Red Dead Redemption for like 5 minutes yesterday, but I don't really count that because I didn't do anything. I just, for the first time ever, I went on like a murdering rampage because I always tried to keep my honor high. I never really did that. And it was okay. It wasn't really that exciting. But the last game I kind of played a lot, and this was also yesterday, was Perfect Dark. And I was trying to get through as much as I could on Perfect Agent. Or I guess Agent, or what's the second one? Special? Anyway, I think it's Special and Perfect. So I've gotten through like up to Area 51, and I could not beat that first level in Perfect Agent. It was like I tried like 3 or 4 times, and I even got down into the like down the elevator shaft into the building, and just like the guys with the dragons were down there, and they just lit me up. Yeah, and then I did the firing range for like maybe an hour, hour and a half, and got gold stars on several. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Do you want to know what I've been playing? Or
Hey, special
Oh, where did he come
Kev.
from?
guest. Magic.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Kev, how you doing?
I'm alright. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I had builder issues, but I'm all done now.
Well, we are glad to have you here. This
What
will
did I
add
miss?
Spice. You literally only missed what I've been playing.
Yep. Brief introduction, and Jeff talked about Rocket League for 5 hours because that's all he plays, and now it's you.
Okay, so I have been playing Mario Kart 64, always a
Nice.
classic.
Yeah.
What else? Angry Birds on the phone. I think I mentioned last week I was getting back into the old Angry Birds.
Excellent.
And I think that's been it. Been pretty much all my time at home has been like watching through Game of Thrones, which I'm speeding to catch up with because the new season started. So yeah, not much time for gaming, but I think next week because like my parents are away, so I have the house to myself for 2 weeks. So there's going to be like a lot of all night gaming sessions, I think.
Very nice.
Excellent.
David, so did you not tell us yet? Or?
I have
He's
not.
not.
So I haven't played that much this week either. I just picked up Splatoon 2 last night. I've honestly barely had a chance to play it. I started playing it really late because I usually have a lot of things going on Friday. So I ended up, I think, beating the first level of the single player, playing a match, trying to do Salmon Run, and then realized it was locked behind a level cap and I couldn't get to it yet. So, yeah, that's what I did with that. I also, throughout the week, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Rogue still. And I'm not sure if I talked about it before, but anyone who likes Black Flag should really check that game out. It feels like, because it's like a 360 game, it feels like Black Flag could have been a sequel to this game. So it's pretty cool
interesting.
stuff. Yeah. Lots of...
Yeah,
I'll have to check that
I
out.
was sort of interested in it, but the fact it was 360 exclusive kind of put me off. Given when
Yeah,
it
that's
came
why
out.
I didn't pick it up
uh,
either.
I know why they did it, but I don't know. To me, it was kind of like, well, there's other Assassin's Creed games I still haven't even caught up on yet, so I kind of skipped over it. But I was actually going to get it in that sale, and I missed it, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean,
bummer.
I don't think it's... I think it's still, like, not full price, even after the sale. Like, I paid $10 for it on the sale, but I imagine it can't be more than 20 or 30 at max. So,
Hopefully.
so probably, I think it would still be worth it at that price. And that's it for me. No more games.
Goodness.
So, I guess it is probably time to move on to the news, which is probably pretty much going to be the majority of this episode. All right, to start things off, Rare's Sea of Thieves video this week was on riddle quests, and it was featured senior designer Andy Preston and senior software engineer the Great Mighty Pooh, aka Chris Marlowe. They discussed the evolution of riddle quests and talked a little bit about the future of the future. Apparently, they talked about how they made the lines of the riddles appear faded out until the previous ones were solved. How having them separated in that way allowed for each line to be its own self-contained rhyme, so the entire thing didn't have to be one big flowing poem. It also talked about the use of your items in inventory to activate things in world, like the raising of a lantern in the E3 trailer, activating the Boar's Head Shrine. They hinted at perhaps using musical instruments in a similar way. And another fun little Easter egg here is this video marks the first time they've publicly shown any footage from the Unity engine prototype of the game. So that was pretty exciting stuff.
It's a pretty sweet video. Pretty cool to see how the riddle quest kind of came to be, and to see that footage of the Unity prototype. I don't know. What were your thoughts on the whole thing as a whole?
I was disappointed there was no lengthy Greg Mails rhyme dissection, but
another time. Maybe we'll just do that on the show once our NDA is lifted.
Maybe. Like I feel like Greg kind of likes to be in the background a little bit more for these type of things.
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he wrote most of them, or am I wrong?
As far as we know, it sound more like it was kind of like Mike and Shelley and Andy writing a lot of them, but we do know, I mean, obviously Greg was hinting at it before E3 that he was writing some, so
maybe
I'm sure it was just a combination of all of them. I'm sure there's many of them.
It's true. He'll get a whole bunch to keep it fresh, man.
Yep. Kev, what did you think of that video?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. Yeah, it was kind of interesting, but the problem that I've got, to be honest, is that can I be blatant and honest on this
Absolutely.
show?
No.
Okay, right. So the game's 8 months away from release, 7 months. It's early. It's Q1, isn't it? Next year.
It's early. Technically, we don't know anything other than it's before the mid-year. But yeah,
okay.
Let's assume
so,
Q1.
Let's assume, yeah. Okay, so I guess my problem is, and I get this with everything, it's not a slight against Rare. This is like with movies and TV shows and stuff, where when stuff is announced and it first starts development and, the production process, I'm like super interested in all the behind the scenes stuff and I really want to know everything. But then I always get this sort of lull around between 6 months and a year before the release where I kind of just get a bit fed up of seeing this. Like I kind of just want to go on a bit of a blackout until it comes out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to say it without sounding like it was a fun and enjoyable, informative video. I mean, all of Rare's videos are, very well put together, and it's great that they are so open these days. But I think for me, I really want to get to the final build of the game now, and having all this stuff drip fed. To me personally, it's kind of like almost diminishing returns. So I kind of zone out a little bit during them now. I don't know. Does that make sense without sounding really rude?
It does. I guess my next question for you would be, are you going to continue in the alpha, or are you kind of going to black out on that too? Because it's basically the same thing. They're just explaining what's in the alpha. Right. Yeah. No. And I appreciate that. It's the thing is with the alpha, I don't think I've played it since before E3.
And I have the opportunity to, because every week, when you guys are at work, I do the Wednesday. But and I love the game and I have fun with it when I play it with you guys. But a couple of times I've just gone to switch it on and play with randoms, and I don't know. It's just I prefer playing with people I know. But also, as an extension to that, even when we all play together, I don't have quite the same buzz that I did a couple months ago. Because I know the final product is going to be so much more. Right. I don't want it to be personally for me, I don't want it to be baby steps to the finished product. it'd be cool to like take a couple months out and then go back to it with like a plethora of updates, if that makes sense.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Okay. I really didn't want to phrase that in a way that sounded like negative, because I think what Rare's doing is pretty amazing, and I think it's so good that they've let so many people join in, and I appreciate it, and I've enjoyed my time. It's just, well, it's been a couple months now. I might switch it on like next week or something, just go back to it every couple of months rather than keeping up to date with it every single week, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Not a bad idea to do it that way. I think probably for a lot of people other than myself, that's like, for me, I just am so into this game that like I want to know every last little bit. And I think it's been pretty obvious throughout its development that I felt that way. But like, it's for you and for I think a lot of people, it's like you said, they want to kind of let it mature and progress. They played the alpha and they see what the concept is, and then they want to kind of wait for the game itself to be out. So I totally appreciate that and get that. So
because it was the same with ukulele. Like the early drip fed information, I was all over. I couldn't wait to see what was going to be shown. And then I think like after the E3 stuff last year, I kind of pulled away from it. And I remember
I did the same.
Yeah, I remember. I think me and you discussed this like way back in like January when there was a big new trailer, and I think neither of us had watched it, and it was like 3 days after it had come out because we were just kind of.
And I was like, "What the world's wrong with you guys?"
And Dave's like, "Into my veins."
Exactly, pretty much.
Well, I just wanted to sit back and wait and just see what the. I just wanted to see it because it was so close. I just thought, I'll wait and I'll experience this firsthand. And Sea of Thieves, and it's a little different because this is more of a game that's going to develop and evolve over time. But I suppose for me, it's kind of it's not that there's anything wrong with the alpha or these video updates. It's just I'm personally choosing to take a bit of a step back with the week to week stuff.
It's been interesting throughout the development of Sea of Thieves because as far as the online community and specifically kind of the earliest super fans around it on like Twitter that were just like tweeting about it every day before anything had ever been shown, back when it was just Captain Bones releasing concept art. Like there was a big buzz from a pretty small group of the community, and I've noticed that several of those kind of more well-known people of the time are not as actively tweeting about it or talking about it in that same regard. And I think that's interesting because it's similar to kind of what happened with you and I in ukulele. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing just because it has been 2.5 years.
Partially, yeah.
Two years. It hasn't been 2.5 years. It's been 2 years since it was announced. But yeah, it's been interesting because like even with those original kind of super excited people not as actively talking about it, like a completely new set of people has stepped in and there's new YouTube channels that are just dedicated straight to Sea of Thieves. There are tons of people on the forums that are like regulars and well known in the quote unquote the community. I guess it's not quote unquote, but like in the Sea of Thieves community, there's kind of these well known people, and Rare has been spotlighting those people on their website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I guess it depends on people's sort of personal
obsessions
in some ways.
Exactly, and
well, we all want to play Sea of Thieves. You're definitely the most detail obsessed, wants to know every little thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was that way with ukulele more often. You guys kind of, So I was the Jeff of ukulele. So, and there's certain things I get that way with more of like. Even with films, I enjoy the Marvel films, but I don't really bother absorbing any information almost until they're out. And then when you have like Star Wars, it's like literally I've spent hours dissecting that behind the scenes reel to try to break down every single thing into a 3-act movie and figure out every single thing that happens in it.
That's exactly the example I was going to say. Yeah, like that scissor reel behind the scenes last week for Star Wars, you probably watched that like 50 times. I watched it once. if that was like an Avengers thing, it would have probably been the opposite for me and you. You might have thrown it on in the background, and I'd have been watching it.
If I even watched it at all.
Yeah, and then there's me. Like I did watch that one, but like for Rogue One, I didn't see anything. I didn't even know who the cast was of Rogue One. So, yeah,
that's baffling.
Yeah,
I can understand it a little
avoided
bit more
cast.
for Rogue One because I was not.
You pulled that off.
yeah.
I managed to go into Rogue One without really exposing myself to spoilers, and I don't think that's going to happen because I've already. I feel like between me dissecting the BTS reel and reading other people's dissections, between every leak I've read, every leaked merchandise, I feel like I don't know the twists of the movie, but I have a pretty good idea of plot beats.
Yeah,
And some people don't even want to know that.
Purposefully just don't want to know any of that. So
Yeah,
I'm not.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
with
I need to
movies,
know.
I don't really, because it's such a, the whole experience is those 2.5 hours.
Right.
Video games a bit different because you can get like hundreds of hours of alternate experiences. But yeah, Dave, I mean, if that's what you like, then that's cool. But I don't get how you can like go out of your way to spoil so much of
Right.
certain movies.
If the wait wasn't so long, I might be able to. It's just like I need to know what happens.
Dude, it's only a year between movies.
It's too much.
If you had lived in the 80s when it was like 3 or 4 years between
Right.
sequels.
Well, even in the early 2000s.
I think too, it just doesn't bother me as much for Star Wars because I know I'm going to see the movie like over 100 times probably through the course of my life, if not more. So it's it's something it's going to be fed into my brain, and I'm always going to be familiar with it.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm gonna try really hard not to get the plot twists spoiled for me. But yeah, I don't know if I'm
Just
strong
don't
enough.
read about Star Wars. You don't have to try to. And go watch it day one instead of waiting 5 days like you usually do.
Well, I'm just hoping that I don't know if you remembered last time, but that last time pretty much the entire plot had been constructed for Force Awakens in July 2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had already read all that stuff. I didn't know for a fact if it was going to be true, and then it ended up all being true. So,
Crazy.
I will say that this time they've kept a much tighter ship. And while we've been our obsessiveness with pulling apart these trailers and every little thing has given us a general idea, we still really don't understand the why. Why does this character go here? What are the plot twists? What are the motivations?
Right.
And I think they're going to do a really good job of keeping a lot of that really under wraps and try not to have everyone get spoiled about, that thing with Han Solo that got out way too early last time. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Drawing it back into our video game analysis.
No, we're going to talk about Marvel and Star Wars.
No. I mean, it's interesting because it's like the reason not the reason, but part of the reason that contributed to me avoiding ukulele stuff and not looking further into it was that there is more story and character in ukulele, and that's what I was anticipating. And so it's like
Right.
I didn't want to know what the levels were. I didn't want to know what the characters were beyond those daily ones that Platonic released in the weeks leading up to it. But
Right.
for Sea of Thieves, I think part of the reason that I'm so interested is that there's not really a big plot to spoil. There's not really a whole lot that you can spoil. And on the flip side, features and things like that, like Kev, like you were saying, you kind of do want to keep those a surprise and keep those fresh for jumping back into it a little bit later. But like, I don't know, I think that's part of why I'm not as personally opposed to it like I normally am on like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting it's an interesting comparison and personality type amongst us that we can each look at these in different ways and have different opinions on how we want to preview them or
Yeah.
read up on them or whatever. So
Right. Should we move on to the next point, or
yeah, we can go ahead and do
kind
that.
of-
Right. I mean, we've been on news item A for the entire episode, which is fine.
Real quick, what did you guys have an opinion on the Unity prototype, or was it just whatever? Like, was it weird to see?
Well, I mean,
Or do
not
you
any weirder
notice?
than any other behind the scenes prototypes type stuff you see in these type of videos.
Yeah.
So, I don't
Okay.
know.
I just think it's odd that they've chosen to wait this long because it's like they've talked about it since last E3 for over.
I mean,
a
yeah, I
year.
guess weird that we're just seeing it now, but
Yeah.
it itself really isn't that weird.
Joe Neat, the executive producer, did mention on Twitter that they do hope to show more from it down the road. So I'm excited for that because it's obviously I did have the opportunity to play it, and it's a really cool thing, and I've been dying for them to share.
They should just
Some
take all the
details about it.
files, put it in a zip, and just post it online so we can.
Yeah, that would be really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
That would be a fun thing to put out with like the Dream and the other canned projects, like just little demo reel.
Yeah.
Anyway, just curious what you guys thought of that because it was kind of cool to see it just randomly pop up.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, it is what it is.
Yep. We can move on to item B. I'll go ahead and grab that. This week, James Thomas, I think senior engineer, or an engineer, and another engineer, Andy Bastable, from Rare, also did a Q&A session on the Insider Program forum, similar to the previous ones. They took fan questions, answered them, and we are afraid to share any of those details here publicly, even though after the last one, I saw people posting all about it on Twitter and didn't get in trouble, but I'm just going to respect that it's in the Insider Forum and not the general forum. So if you want to check it out, definitely head over to seaofthieves.com/forum. As long as you're signed up for the Insider Program, you will be able to go check it out. The thread was locked, so there's not just like an ongoing onslaught of stuff. It's the initial questions and all the answers, and they went back on after it ended and continued answering questions, so there's a good plethora of information in there and some pretty cool anecdotes. I think they answered like 2 or 3 questions that I asked, so it's pretty cool. Did you guys happen to check out any of that, or
I just learned about it just now, so
good times?
yeah. Thank you for sharing. It reminds
Yeah.
me that I do need to go to those forums more.
Yeah,
I feel like I
thanks for
pop in
having me,
like
mate.
once
I
a
didn't-
month at most, which is
Fair
bad.
enough.
Which is probably why nothing ever works out for me. I don't love Sea of Thieves enough. There should be religion about it, and Jeff would be the Pope. So
Something like
anyway,
that.
um,
Kev, you want to go ahead and grab the next news item?
Yep. So Unreal awarded Rare their biggest buzz award from E3, which is cool. And as a gift, they sent the studio an NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti graphics card. You know, that classic.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's one of the most well-known ones right now.
yeah. I guess Rare couldn't afford this, so they had to
I know. I
win
thought
it.
that was really weird. I understand for maybe an indie studio, but like that's an odd thing to send over. Because it's not like it was from
huge arm
Nvidia. It
of
was
the
from
corporate giant Microsoft. Here you go, guys. Have this one on us.
$5. $5. I didn't phrase that right. Let me start over. $5
Okay,
says they've
cool.
already got like 20 of those, so we've got like one machine that's running 2 of them in tandem, or 4 of them in
Right.
tandem.
All right.
maybe it's like signed by Unreal or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cliffy B signed it if he's even still works for Unreal, which I don't think he does.
I have no idea who works for Unreal anymore.
Guys,
Yo.
Yeah.
you know the legendary builder who delayed my arrival on the episode?
Yeah.
So he's just pulled up outside my house, and it looks like he's getting like a big ass drill out of the back of the van.
All right.
So this might be the first time in Logcast history where someone started late and finished early. I might have to leave you guys to wrap this up. I do apologise.
We could literally just
No
keep
worries.
going until the drilling actually starts. It could be entertaining.
Well,
and then just end the
it's
episode
just
there.
awkward because it's in the next room, and it's just like he's like a real working class guy, and it's just embarrassing talking about video games. And to myself, it just looks like I'm crazy. No, what it is, he said he was going to be like a few hours, and then he just disappeared like 30 minutes ago, and I was like, huh. So I guess he had to go get another tool.
Oops.
Oh, sorry
Funny, the
guys,
other
you
day
don't
we
mind,
had-
do you?
We had it's fine.
No,
we had a guy
it's
come to
fine.
the apartment to install new smoke detectors, and I had Rocket League on, so I like just kind of paused on the main menu, and he like comes in, he's working, and then he looks over at the TV. He's like, "Dude, Rocket League!" He goes, "I freaking love that game." We started
All
talking
right.
about it. So it's kind of funny. Sometimes they might be into games. Who knows?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Don't be embarrassed, Kev. It should be embarrassing if you don't like games.
Maybe he plays WoW.
You never know.
Maybe.
Maybe he's just
Alright,
really into
no.
something really obscure. Like, all he plays are, like, unreleased in the West Japanese RPGs and visual novels. That's it.
Totally
Could be.
that.
Right, I've got to jump out. I do apologise. Have a good week, everyone. See
Right,
you later.
Kev.
Bye,
Bye.
Kev.
Thank you for being here for the first news item.
Yay.
First and second.
All right.
Cool.
Well, then I
Alright.
guess it's back to you for the next.
Yes.
Which it would've been anyway.
Okay, so a large group of what appear to be streamers visited this week, or visited Rare this week, not us. Visited Rare this
Yeah,
week.
not
We're
us.
given a tour and a chance to play the game.
Yep. They
I
posted a picture.
missed this, but
Yeah.
you catch every single thing. So,
um,
do we know their streamers? Were they recognizable? Like, who were
Not
these
to
people?
me, maybe to people online. Some of them were like posting, "Oh, I was just at Rare and it was so awesome," and blah blah blah.
Okay.
Like, I don't really know who any of them were, but
You're not hip enough, Jeff. I bet you I know every single one of them.
probably.
Probably not.
And I think it was streamers. I would, like, it may have been something separate too, but they because all Rare said was they had some VIPs, which were very important pirates,
Okay.
at the studio. They didn't go into detail about
Is
what
that
it
on
was
the Rare
or why.
Twitter? I'm curious now.
So, yeah, it's on their Rare's Twitter.
Okay.
And then there was like some responses among like staffers and different streamers that just showed up in my feed. So, and then Lauren Carter, I believe is her name, who used to be social media manager over at Lionhead, who had left Microsoft and is now back with actual Xbox team in the UK. She visited around the same time or at the same time. So not sure exactly what her new role is with Xbox, but she's a cool person. She does a monthly podcast called the Super Cool Cast, where she interviews some game industry people. She's interviewed Ted Timmons from Rare, and can't remember if anyone else from Rare, but highly recommend it. Just gonna plug it because it's one I listen to a lot, and it's very informative for people interested in the games industry. Anyway, tangent done from me.
Cool.
Did you open the picture by chance and see if there's any you recognize?
I don't recognize these guys. There's one guy maybe, but that's not a very good pictures because
Yeah.
they're so small and they don't
Yeah.
give anyone's names or handles or anything.
Yep. Oh well.
well. Yes.
Okay.
Neither one of us is cool enough to immediately recognize those people.
Yeah, maybe they're just corporate people and I'm completely wrong. Could be.
Oh
Moving
yeah.
on to-
How do we? Where did we even get the streamers from? From looking at this picture like
Because
that?
throughout the week, different streamers were posting stuff about being at the Rare
Oh,
Studios,
okay.
and Rare staffer was like replying to them. So that's where I got that from.
Okay.
it was
okay.
Deductive reasoning, but could have been a separate trip. Who knows? Anyway, next news item. This is maybe the most exciting one to me this week. Several Rare alumni had a mini reunion. Current staffers like Chris Marlowe and Robin Beanland, as well as I put Platonic Folk here. I guess they're contracted Platonic Folk, but David Wise and Grant Kirkhope, both members of Gory Detail, Sean Pyle and Chris Seaver, and Graham Norgate from Dambuster, as well as 7 other people that I didn't recognize off the top of my head, but actually I know one is Mark Betteridge because someone commented on that Mark Betteridge was there. I just have never seen a picture of him, so I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, the dude in the Platonic shirt looks familiar.
Yeah, he to me too, and I'm not sure who he is, but
I'm sure he's
obviously another.
one of the new
Platonic
guys
guy.
at Platonic, probably.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so a bunch of them got together at looks like a pub, and had a little mini reunion, which was really cool to see. It was fun to see, and also helps to fight that stupid argument on Facebook that everyone at Rare and Platonic and Gory Detail like all hate each other. And it's just like, you guys are
Right.
stupid.
And
Which we posted.
yeah, I
in
mean,
that
the fact
group,
too, because
so-
like some of these people, I mean, I know like Grant doesn't even live in the UK anymore, so he clearly is, went out of his way to be here.
Right. He's doing a media tour for Rabbids right now. I know he was
is he?
in.
Okay.
Yeah, he was doing stuff with Davide Solani, the director of Rabbids. The two of them have been doing interviews and stuff all week, so it's like obviously he's in Europe for some sort of press tour, but pretty cool. He probably just stopped in to see the folks and say hello. Maybe met with Platonic for talking about their next project. That's probably pretty likely at this point, or maybe even just doing music for the DLC. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was kind of nostalgic to see them all together. It was the best part maybe was Sean Pyle using the Gory Detail Twitter handle, because that is his primary Twitter handle, tweeted out this funny saying. It was like, oh crap, I can't remember what it was, and I don't have it pulled up right now, but it was like Super Donkey Kazooie Kong 64 has been contracted to sign or something.
I must have missed that. That's pretty funny.
It was really funny. I should look it up maybe while you're doing the next news article, but yeah, I don't know. Probably not much more to say about this. We're just trying to elongate each topic so that we have plenty of time, which we're doing really good on time.
Yeah. So. We always like, oh, is there enough for an episode on this? And they were like, yep, there is.
Okay, here we go.
Our rants about like just random movies and passion and how people, like to take information in for things they're excited for. That took like quite a bit. Anyway,
no, I did find that tweet real quick. It is contract signed. Conquer Zooey Kong's killer after Curry Party 64 is go. So there you go.
Awesome. Anyway, next item we have on the list is we have an update from Making Games. And they have 50 hold achievements. And one is going to involve a certain old school button cheat code.
Ooh.
Pretty sure it's the Konami code, guys. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other throwbacks that we don't know of, but the fact that we're to the point of achievements, I mean, it's got to be hitting certification soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it within the next couple months on the Xbox store. So, very exciting stuff, and I can't wait to finally get to play that.
Me too.
It's pre-rendered graphic glory.
Oh, been dying to play it. Mm-hmm. And along those lines, I did also stumble across, and these are both kind of a little bit earlier news items that we just haven't mentioned on the show before. I guess Nick Macon did an interview with Real Young Kano earlier this month. I haven't listened to it. I was going on the assumption that you haven't listened to it either.
Nope, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't either. It's someone who lists themselves as a SoundCloud producer, rapper, and podcaster about games. So should be interesting if you're curious about Raging Justice. And hopefully around launch time, we'll have Nick back on the show to discuss what has all gone down since last time he was on the show as our first big interview. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Making Games. It kind of just starting to ramp up a little bit of marketing and advertising awareness through social media. So,
yeah. My mind just completely went blank. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Making Games, Raging Justice.
Yeah, there's not really that much else. The news about Gordy. Yeah, so shoot. Yeah, I think that's all we have, isn't it?
Well, I put that last item there just since we were kind of just getting up to date. There is no other news about the other studios we follow, essentially.
Okay. I know. I was reading over that. I was like trying to figure out what was supposed to be talked about there. No, and then I just stumble horribly over my words.
To me, the news is that there is no news. It's like crazy that Fortune Fish hasn't.
Right.
They haven't even tweeted since August. Like nothing. Dambuster, we don't really know anything about what they're doing, and Gory Detail, it's just kind of like it looks like Chris Seaver is just working on levels still, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like no new info, no release info, no.
Right. I mean, it's great. I think the amount of effort they've put into Rusty Pup is insane. Like it looks way more than what I thought it was going to be initially. Because I mean,
right.
Still only really two guys primarily with like a few other people helping out. But
yeah,
like that he's doing musicians. This big, probably would have been considered a full major game release in the 90s just with two guys.
That's the biggest thing. Or even with Raging Justice, I mean, it's crazy that just so few people. Because Raging Justice was, I think, literally 3 people plus Nick's wife as social media and marketing, to make essentially a full priced 90s game. Is that's admirable. Rusty Pup, same thing. Just two guys and a couple musicians. I mean, it's impressive, and it almost makes me sad that the way the indie scene has been structured is that people expect to pay less for them. Like Ukulele should not have been a $40 game. Ukulele should have been a $60 game.
Right.
And it makes me feel bad for them. Not to say that they're probably desperate for money.
I know,
but like
there's a lot of games that
principle.
are full price that shouldn't be.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like the industry is valuing different things.
And it's all. A lot of it is Apple's fault in how they set up the App Store initially, and maybe not Apple's fault, but people that utilize the App Store initially with the free to play and pay to win type structures. People expect things to be cheap or free, and it's like the same amount of time and effort goes into those, and not all of them. Like Flappy Bird obviously was a kid in like a week, but so many other ones.
He's rich.
Like Tracky Train or Dashy Crashy, like. You can tell there's a lot of love that goes into those types of games. There's a lot of good art assets, a lot of tight gameplay, and structure to them, leveling up, and like all these things that are major game design things that take time and obviously man hours. And it's a bummer that they're almost devalued in this market just because of how the industry has gone.
Yeah, and I feel like eventually it's getting to the point where everyone has to look at different revenue streams that end up hurting the game because of it, with free to play stuff, microtransactions, because people aren't willing to shell out money.
The paid
and the fact that
maps for first person shooters and stuff, yeah.
Right. See, I can kind of understand the argument against paid maps because that whatever fractures the the base.
That. Yep.
So that I kind of understand it when it comes to first person shooters. Do I think there's better ways to do it? As you can see with like Titanfall 2, where it's like we're not going to charge for items, we're going to or RNG boxes or things like that. We'll just buy cosmetic stuff that go with each free drop.
And I love that. Yeah. I think that's a good middle ground for this type of thing. But yeah, like
and they're
Titanfall
at least cool
1,
enough too for completionists that it's like, hey, here's a like $15-$20 bundle of every cosmetic item for this DLC drop if you want to do it that way. Because there's some games that go the cosmetic route that like piss me off, because it's literally, if you wanted to get everything, you'd spend like $300 just on stupid stuff. So I like the two that they're not only doing that, they're making the cosmetic stuff affordable for people who want it, and that's cool. And I think different games have to go in different directions though. With that type of stuff,
it's true. Like there's no perfect solution, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to me to see what making games prices Raging Justice at, and what Gory Detail prices theirs at. Like,
I think they'll be very competitive.
I think they're both going to be like $20, but
yeah, when you give with these artist types, they really just want indie types. They want people to enjoy their game,
right?
And I think that a lot of them would rather more people play the game and make a little bit less money. So, which is admirable. But yeah, that's
it's admirable. It's also a smart way to get mind share. Like, I think with Ukulele performing, I mean, I'm pretty sure it sold well. It's been in every major retailer. Like, it's been in the Walmart here. So like, it got shelf space. It still has shelf space to this day, and it's been out for several months. So it's
honestly going to get a massive boost when it hits the Switch. Because there's a lot of interest in that type of game.
I think we think that. I honestly think that that's a vocal minority. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as we think. Sales-wise.
See,
hopefully, because the Switch
here's the thing, though,
successful,
we're already starting to see that happening with games that are going on the Switch, especially this early.
Compared
like
to
indie games,
Wii U especially,
just because there's less traffic, other things to steal eyes from it, because it's a new platform.
It's too bad,
and it doesn't help that the people who play this type of console want that type of game.
That's like, also true.
Snake Pass did really well on Switch, and we're seeing like a lot of these indie games that have been out for years. Like, they throw it on Switch, and all of a sudden there's like press coverage on like a game that was actually released 2 years ago.
That's
so
true. Yeah,
I think it's definitely going to get I don't know how big the boost is, but I think it's going to be very significant. And sometimes indie games like this will end up selling better on Nintendo platform even than the more mainstream ones, just because
Right.
of the type of people who play them.
Yeah,
And
I could see it going either way. You're right.
I think it'll do well because
Yeah.
I think there's
Well, I think it'll do well. I just don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just anecdotally, like I browse NeoGAF a lot, and a lot of times I'm in the ukulele thread. There's so many people that say they're waiting for the Switch version.
right,
And-
but like I said, that's a vocal minority.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
my
I know.
opinion, because here's, I mean, you think of the install base of the PS4, the install base of the Xbox One, and obviously the install base of PC, versus as successful as the Switch been, there's still only what, like 2 million in the wild, right? So like, even
Like, true, but I think more of those 2 million people are interested in that type
okay,
of
yeah,
game.
no, that and that's true. But
Like,
it'll be
you
interesting
can
to
have
see
a big
how it
install base,
compares.
but 90% of that install base, just wants to play
Right.
the next
it's-
Call of Duty or Halo or Destiny. They aren't
Right.
even interested in a cartoony type game. So,
Yeah, that's true.
well, to
It'll
see
be-
how it
it'll be
does.
very
My prediction is
interesting.
that
We'll have to watch
I
that.
don't know how if it's going to beat like other mainstream consoles sales. I think it will very least be very competitive.
Yeah.
It'll
Okay,
be
fair
a
enough.
huge chunk of their. Of
I'm
their
hoping
income.
so. I hope it does
Yeah.
well. And the appeal of taking it mobile and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens with that. The whole point I was trying to get at with that is that I think with the success of ukulele so far, and that there's more to come, I think Playtonic can full price their next game if it's a full game, be it Tukulele as everyone's calling it, or the new adventure racing or the new fighter. Like, I think they can get away with charging full price for their next game. I think the reason that ukulele was listed at 40 for sale is because they were a new indie dev and didn't really know what to expect. But at this
Mhm.
point, it's almost not even fair to call them an indie studio. Like, yes, technically by the term of the word they are, but like more people would associate indie with kind of like up and coming people or single to double person teams.
Right.
Whereas this is 20 industry veterans. This is like Respawn Entertainment. Like, yeah, okay, it's an indie studio, but really it's a real AAA dev studio. It really is.
Right. I
Um,
mean,
And their
I
games
don't
should be
think
priced
they've
as such.
expanded as fast as Respawn does, because I know.
Well, no.
I'm sure
And,
Respawn.
and
Yeah.
they have a core value of to keep an N64 size team.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I know they theoretically have talked before about if they they might get more than one, so they could expand more to like a bigger studio, but then there would be N64 size teams within that. working on different
they're
games.
essentially said back at the Kickstarter launch that they want to do the barn style thing where they have
Yeah.
two teams staggering releases. I'm all for that, and I think they should do that as long as they learn from the Rare days and they frickin' share engine technology because God
I
damn it.
mean, they're all probably going to be using open source engines, or not open source engines, but like
Yeah.
main proprietary engines. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm sure they will.
I'm really hoping
I'm-
they switch to Unreal for their next one. Unity's
Yeah.
just not my favorite engine.
What they did with it was amazing, but I think they'll-
Agreed, but it's still just I feel
Yeah,
like
they'll-
it stopped them from achieving the perfection that they normally would have when they were making it themselves.
I think it made a lot more sense when this was coming out on Wii U and stuff.
Right, when they were unfunded and I mean
Yeah,
all of
Because at
it
that point, Unreal 4 was like
still not free.
I
for-
don't think it's still even possible to put Unreal 4 on Wii U. So a lot of
Snake
times
Pass is Unreal 4, dude.
Pardon?
Snake Pass is Unreal 4.
On Wii, that's not on Wii U though, is it?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Switch. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Wii U doesn't matter. You're sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Because that's what I was saying is this was considered to be one
Right,
of
at
one
the
of their biggest
time. Right,
audiences
right,
was
right,
going to be Wii U. So that
Also,
probably played
Unity was
into
the only
it.
thing that was free in
Yeah,
late 2014. Unreal didn't go free until later.
but
But
a
both
lot
those
of times,
factors.
like there's sort of early decisions made like that become
Yep.
not important later. Like with the first Titanfall, the main reason they picked Source is because they were trying to go to the lowest common denominator of PS3, and they thought it would run well on. That would be the easiest to make a PS3 game with.
I did not know that
Like-
was running on Source.
Hmm?
I did not know Titanfall 1 was running on Source.
Yep, I'm not sure if the sequel is. I would. It looks very similar.
I would
think
imagine it
maybe-
is. I would imagine they
Yeah.
just continued on with it, but
Right.
interesting.
Yep.
Did not know that. Anyway, I'm hoping they either build their own engine. I would prefer to see a Platonic engine personally, just with that talent they have there. I don't know that they would ever do that just because of obviously price and time and all that. Now that they have kind of the luxury of a first game out in sales, maybe they can start R&D on an engine or get the source code of an engine and tweak it better. Like, I know, for example, Rare said that, well, maybe they didn't say this publicly. Never mind. But
okay.
sorry, they have at least said that they're working with Unreal and that they can make modifications to suit them. They have said that publicly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's just because they're paying for, like, quote unquote the premium package of Unreal. Like, I don't really know how that all works. But I would like to see that with Platonic, because, like, I was just looking at, I was playing Banjo-Kazooie a little bit this week, which I guess I didn't mention at the top of the show, but the physics of just the collectibles, like, for example, the honeycomb pieces, are really good considering that was their first attempt at that at all. And, like, when you kill an enemy on, like, a slope, the honeycomb piece will, like, bounce, and it'll bounce properly off of different facing geometry. And a lot of the physics in that game work really well considering that there's not a physics engine. There's not a whole lot of physics going on. And I just feel like Yooka-Laylee suffered from Unity's kind of built-in physics that are just a little off. So, anyway, I personally think we've talked this show to death, and we made a full episode out of something that probably shouldn't have been. So, thanks for bearing with us, everyone.
Yeah, this was extended news.
Yeah.
This is the news that never ends.
Basically.
Where's Lamb Chop to sing with me? Okay. All right, so now that I'm referencing things that no one cares about, let's probably call this a day. And just want to remind you all that we are on all the social medias. And be sure to check us out on YouTube, where you very well might be listening to this right now. Leave us a like, maybe a subscribe if you want to, always get this in your feed. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and you can subscribe to the audio version of this podcast on iTunes and Google Play. And I know you can give us a rating on iTunes. I'm not sure about Google Play, but if you can, give us all the stars.
Indeed.
I think that's the due diligence.
All right.
Anything else you want to say, Jeff?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, then thanks for tuning in to hear us banter on about all this nonsense. Y'all have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.